What's the word, y'all? It's Double R, the guy tapping in with y'all. So look, I got this book here called The Making of a Slave by Willie Lynch. This book is about a slave master who wrote a manual on how to keep black people enslaved. It's a guideline, a strategy guideline. Just like how you would get a manual on how to build a table, this is a manual on how to build a slave. All right. So I'm gonna read out of this book and I'm gonna interpret. Now, black people been enslaved for 300 years. Y'all tell me if black people are still enslaved. Okay. So it says, I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantations in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple list of differences and think about them. On top of my list is age, but it's there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, sizes of plantations, status on plantations, attitude of owners, whether the slaves live in the valley, on a hill, east, west, north, south, have fine hair, coarse hair, or is tall or short. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust and envy stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. I'm going to go to this last part. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slave versus the light-skinned slave, and the light-skinned slave versus the dark-skinned slave. You must use the female versus the male, and the male versus the female. You must also have your white servants and overseers distrust all blacks, but it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us. Okay, so I'm going to start from the beginning. Now it says, I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I use these differences and make them bigger. Okay, now it says on the top of my list is age. Okay, now let's look at hip-hop. Hip-hop, a lot of people don't even really understand what hip-hop is. A lot of people don't even know what hip-hop means. Hip means to know, hop means to move. Okay, so nobody knows that, not in this generation. So that just lets you know how disconnected we are generationally as far as knowing shit. Okay, so look at the age. Look at the old heads in hip-hop and look at the young heads in hip-hop. Can't get along. Hip-hop is our culture. Hip-hop is just like you got Mexican culture and you got Arab culture. You have hip-hop. Hip-hop is black culture, all right? That's everything. That's not just music. Hip-hop is not a genre of music. It's a culture. It's not just music. It's clothing. It's style. It's the lingo. It's everything. So you look at how you dress, it's based off of hip-hop. You seen somebody in hip-hop, whether it been Future, whether it been Young Thug, whether it been anybody. These fanny packs that everybody wearing, these little straps across the chest and shit. If you hadn't seen nobody in hip-hop wearing that, you would not be wearing that right now. Biker jeans, skinny jeans, all of that shit is hip-hop based. All right, so that's our culture. Now, the old heads and the young heads can't even get along in our culture. The thing that we should be able to understand each other the most, which should be fashion, which should be music, which should be our lingo. We can't get along with none of that shit. Whether it be the music, we make fun of each other music, how it sound. We make fun of the clothes that each other wear. We not getting along. All right, so what was the second thing? Color or shade. So you got light skin, dark skin, team light skin, team dark skin. Everybody think that it's a joke. You know what I'm saying? Black people think everything is a joke, but it's really not a joke. This is the same method that white people were using to control black people when we were on plantations. And it's still going on today, except we carrying it out ourselves. Okay, so it says intelligence. Now, you got smart black people and you got hood black people. Now, hood black people get around smart black people and you act white. You talk white. You this and that. Black people get around hood white people. You too much of a nigga. You act like this. You act like that. So here you got the strategists in our group and the warriors in our group not getting along, right? So divide and conquer. You feel me? Already. We can't get along around each other. We can't speak this way. This can't just be me. This can't just be you. This person can't just be like this. This person can't be like this. And we can't just all get along and respect each other. All right? So now you got sex, sizes of plantations, status of plantations, whether the slaves live in the valley, on the hill, east, west, north, south. Okay, so East Coast, West Coast, East Side, West Side, North Side, South Side. Don't nobody get along. Niggas on the east side act like this. Niggas on the west side act like this. Oh, them West Coast niggas be on that tip. Oh, them East Coast niggas be on that tip. Them down south niggas be on that tip. All right, so nigga, I don't care if you at the top of the hill, if you at the bottom of the hill. If your plantation bigger on this side, your plantation bigger on that side. You can look at that shit in school. You know what I'm saying? This school better than this school, and it's so much competition when we should be getting along, getting together to work together. All right, so what's next? Okay, fine hair, coarse hair, tall or short. Nigga, you got nappy ass hair, right? You got white people hair. Your hair like this. We all look at each other and judge each other based off of these ideologies. And people, this is what y'all have to understand. When your ancestors, meaning your grandma, your great grandma, your great grandfather, when they experience things, you ever wonder why you good at basketball and you ain't never played basketball before? That's because your ancestors did it. They did something along the lines of those reflexes, whether they was actually playing basketball or they was just doing something along the lines to make you better reflex-wise and just strategy-wise, all right? Okay, for example, my grandfather used to do taekwondo. So when I start doing taekwondo, if I were to start practicing taekwondo, I would start catching on to it quick because I've already done it before. That part of that technique, that skill is already stored in my genes. I just have to tap into it and remember it. Everything that my grandfather seen, all the moves that he was practicing, that is stored genetically in my DNA. That's how animals know how to hunt when they get out of the womb. They know how to feed. They know what to eat. This is because it's all stored in their DNA. All right, so these things that was going on, this hating, this jealousy, all this negative, envious shit that your ancestors seen that slave owners was using against slaves back then is still going on now. We don't even realize that we're doing it because we didn't think that we started it. We didn't start it. This is something that's been going on for a long time, and this is what y'all got to understand. So let me go further back into the book. All right, you got trust, distrust. I know y'all feel like y'all can't trust nobody. Envy stronger than adulation, and adulation is like the opposite of envy. Like when you look up to somebody or you admire somebody, right? It says envy stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. So I know y'all feel like, damn, somebody envy me, or why do I feel like all these people hate me? I can't trust these people. That's the energy that we put out. We don't want to see each other do good, right? So it creates a distrust between us all. So now, all right, we must pitch the old black male versus the young black male male against the old black male, the dark-skinned slave versus the light-skinned slave. You must use the female versus the male versus the female. You look at black relationships, they are unstable, period. There's no question about it. We don't understand each other. We don't take the time out to really think about how each other feel, to respect each other's feelings, where we coming from. All right, so what else do it say? But it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us. I don't think I need to explain that at all. I think that is very self-explanatory. Niggas will buy white products before they buy black products. Niggas just, that whole entrepreneurship lane is just out of whack. You know what I'm saying? It's just, we depend on them for everything. White people, Arabs, Asians, all of that shit we're dependent upon when it comes to food, when it comes to clothes, when it comes to everything that we need. So we need to start putting back trust into each other. We need to work on ourselves as individuals. I say this all the time. People want to know, how do we get out of this deficit? How do we get out of this stage and this position that we in? Work on you. You feel me? Work on yourself. Stop worrying about everybody else and what everybody else is doing. Stop worrying about if that person buying a black-owned product. Stop worrying about what that person eating, if they eating a vegan diet. Stop worrying about all that shit and worry about yourself. Ask yourself, am I spending money with black people? Right? Because once you start spending money with black people, your people gonna start spending money with black people, and they people gonna start spending money with black people. But it starts with the individual. So if everybody just focus on themselves and start doing stuff like that, we'll get out of this deficit. Are you supporting the people around you? Don't worry about if people supporting you. Are you supporting others? Push out that energy. It'll come back. All right. So yeah, I wanted to read this book, a little snippet out of it, to show y'all how slavery is still in effect. And, you know, black people think that we free because we driving around. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got chains on us. We got our own little house, got our own little crib. We play the game. You know, we smoke our little weed and shit like that. No, this ain't that. We are standing in a fucking battlefield right now. We still got chains on us mentally, and I want y'all to understand that. So make sure y'all go check out this book. It's called The Making of a Slave by Willie Lynch. It's only like $5. $5 to change your life for the rest of your life. You feel me? 2 pages out of this book will change how you think completely. All right, so share this video with somebody you love. Share this video with somebody you care about. And yeah, enjoy.